everything will be fine. Everything will be just fine. Everything will turn out fine. This is a mistake that third density minds often make. Too often. Because you're programmed, due to your environment, to automatically expect things to take time and not be instantaneous. Because you're automatically programmed to expect that. You use language that is ineffective. You don't understand that by saying things are going to, you have placed it in a category of other than what is. You have decided that right now is something other than fine. You see, this is an error in your thinking. You've got to change that. Where it is, everything is in the eternal now. There is no more going to be, will be. Everything is now. Declare it here and now. Because once you have declared it, once you have chosen it, it is yours. You are one with it. There is no difference between you and it. You are a frequency match to it. Do you want things to be fine? Do you want things to be better than fine? Do you want things to be awesome? I am awesome. Everything is awesome. My life is going very well. Declare it in the now. Don't say it in the future tense. This is why. This is one of the fundamental reasons. And we're going to get down to all of the reasons why all of the positive thinking in the world has not worked thus far. Declare things in the now. Do not say things like, things will be well, things, I will be good, I will be healed, I will be, things will be. That's to indicate that they're not already. Why don't you declare them in the now? Let them be here and now. Because it will be in the here and now when you converge with that reality. Just because you've been programmed due to density to expect things to take a long time, you can't automatically assume they're going to not be instantaneous. We're living in a space now, in the fourth dimension, where miracles can happen, things can happen like this. We have to know that now is the time. There is no other time. When you converge with that thing, it will be now. There is no future. It will be now. Just let the river of time take you to that place. Just keep knowing that you are there. Keep knowing that you have it. Do not let your outer conditions dictate your inner conditions. It's never been easier to raise your frequency than now, because Earth's frequency has been raised. And it's been steadily rising. But it's really been the action of the volunteers on this planet that have begun to be activated now, because the time has come. We've got enough of us on the planet. We've done enough of the work. It's time now to collectively manifest the new Earth. It's never been easier. And it has been done before. The teachings that came through Saint Germain, those were experienced by a human at some point in much denser times than now. They were able to maintain a high vibration. So can we. So can we rise above every kind of limitation that's ever been known, and we will. It's beginning to be clear that the action of the collective is a combination of the physical and the non-physical. Some of us are here in bodies, and some of us are here in spirit. But we are all here. Call us ECCO or whatever you want to call us. We are all here. And if you're listening to this message, you most likely are one of us. And if this is resonating with you, welcome home, I guess. We're beginning to move as a unit because we're all getting the same messages. Sooner or later, all will begin to see this new Earth that is emerging. It's been talked about. It's just only now beginning to be something that can be brought into fruition. The time is now. The time is now. So relegating anything to some future tense is really, that is outmoded, outdated. And even the idea of saying that something is outmoded and outdated is third density language. But you must understand that any kind of future tense or past tense is no longer applicable. In your internal language, you've got to reprogram it. You've got to start putting everything in the present tense, because that is the time that exists. That is the only real time. Everything else is an illusion. It's some sub-simulation that you run. It's some kind of... Just think about it. Any future that you may pretend there is only exists in your mind as some kind of scenario that you play out based on the facts that you know from your current vantage point, which is not substantial enough. It's not enough. That is not enough information to go on anymore. It's not. This is why we stop you every time you start to imagine. It's not that we don't want you to have imagination. It's that it's time to stop imagining and let's start building the foundations of these things in reality. It is time now that we can actually have the things that are in our dreams. We can manifest these things into reality. It is our world to choose and do with what we please, because we are doing by following this bliss, by following this creative spark. We're not trying to stifle anyone's creativity. That's not it. We're not trying to stop you from having dreams and goals and visions. It's to not simulate them based upon your current vantage point, because that's not enough information. You're going to start creating something that amounts to like a crayon on a cardboard box. Like, it is a most crude, like cave drawing type of scenario compared to what we can create, because we see all of the details. We can see from here, from this vantage point, all of the twists and turns, and we know all of the parameters that would be best suited to all concerned, so that you get what you want. And if you are flexible enough, you can get exactly what you want and even better, and then it's also beneficial for all that are around you. It's the idea is to not violate the free will of any, but also not only, I mean, that's at the very baseline, is to not violate anyone else's free will, which we never do, and you mustn't do, because you actually can influence people. People can be misled here in the density because things take a long time. There are a lot of little details, sleight of hand, and there's a lot of deception that has gone on this planet. So you mustn't play into that deception ever. You must be your authentic self at all times. You must be. You have to be. It is imperative that you do not lie, that you do not cheat, because you don't have to. All the abundance of the universe is available to you. You are in the space where miracles happen. Not anytime in the future, not anytime soon. Now, right now, right now, right now. Get to know that. Get to know that right now is the time when miracles occur. Right now. This is the time. Don't forget. This is miracle time now. Not sometime in the future. You won't be healed sometime in the future. You won't have abundance sometime in the future. You won't be free of fear or whatever's bad situation or whatever's going on in the future. It's now. The time is now. Declare it in the now and know that you have it in the now. This is the new language that we must begin to use, because it is the language of now. Any future that you can simulate is just that. It's just something in your mind. It doesn't exist. When that moment actually comes, it'll just be now. And anything that is in the past, so to speak, exists in your memories, which can be eroded, which can be changed over time. Everything's malleable. You have a vast store of records in your brain, like musical records. And you've got this internal DJ that can play these records instantaneously, in stereo even. But do you understand that even as vividly as you can recall, and it is astounding that, you can just recall these things, lots of people can do this. It's really an amazing gift to be able to have all this music just stored inside of your consciousness and just bring it back up at any time. You can play the whole thing. Sometimes playing it in your brain is just as satisfying as putting the record on the turntable, where you hear it through acoustic space into your ears. sometimes just playing the memory back. But what we're saying is that those memories can actually change. If you listen to that record enough in your brain without listening, refreshing it in your, what the thing actually is in the dense version, it can change. You can misremember details. All of these things you can start to remember things differently. Many people have romanticized a past that wasn't all that. And many people have painted a bleak past that wasn't all that. You must learn to see everything for what it is and accept it for what it truly is. Look it in the eye, face that thing down, whatever it is that you've been stuffing down, whatever it is that you've been suppressing, that you don't want to face, that thing you don't want to think about. You've got to face that demon down head first. You have the power to do it. You have the tools. You have the power. You are the one in control. There is no external force. There is no external force. There is no force outside of you whatsoever. There is no power outside of you. That is all illusory. You are the one in control. You are the one who has the say. So take control. If you're feeling lack, stand up for what is rightfully yours. You deserve to have abundance. You, after all, are the creator of the universe, the animator of all things. Whether you like it or not, that God power, that miraculous life-giving power is what runs through your veins. Accept the divinity that is within you. Accept the power that you have and step into that power and let that power grow, and miracles will occur in and without, all around you, within and without. Watch the miracles unfold as you begin to understand that you are this. Each person is experiencing a third density slice of God. This is what it looks like in the third density. All that you see around you, all the creation, everything you can touch, taste, smell, whatever, the air that you breathe, it is God in action, God in motion. It is the creator, and that is you. That is you. You are experiencing a mirror reflection of everything that is inside of you, externally. All of the beauty and all of the ugly and everything else that you can attach some sort of value to, good, bad, or ugly, whatever you want to attach to it, it all came from inside of you. It is all manifest from inside of you. It is you who created. You with that infinite power. When you say, I am, you are using that infinite creative power. And when you declare something in the now, and you really know it deep down, not believe it, when you know it, when you really truly trust this divine power that is within you, and you know this source, and you trust this source, and you trust the guidance that you get, when you go within, you will begin to tap into guidance, divine guidance. This voice that is speaking now is a voice from within you, and it may manifest differently when it speaks to you. And maybe it won't speak audibly out of your lips in this way. Maybe you will write it on paper. Maybe you'll paint it. Maybe you'll put it into a song. We get messages to you in all sorts of ways. If you are open to receiving guidance, you will get guidance. But understand that whether you like it or not, and whether you acknowledge us or not, we are guiding you. And we are here to make sure that the things that you agreed to do before you incarnated on this planet get done. That is our job. We are the custodians, the guardians of you, and we make sure that, A, nothing bad happens to you. We make sure that no harm comes to you whatsoever. You are absolutely safe at all times. Believe this, no matter what it looks like. Remember the 23rd Psalm? Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. This is what we're talking about. When you have this inner presence, when you know this divine power that emanates from within you and not from external from you, you cannot be separate from it anymore, and you can wield this divine power at all times, and you can know that nothing can come against you. Nothing. And now comes into full fruition the scripture that says, greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. This is not talking about any sort of ego character or any devil or God or whatever. This is simply understanding that all of the power lies within you. Anything external is illusory. It is just a reflection. Do not allow yourself to be controlled anymore by anyone or anything. If it does not agree with your spirit, say no to it, reject it. Let it go with grace and ease. Don't resist it. Don't get angry at it. Let it go. Just let it go. Don't resist it. Don't stuff it down like you have done with some of your emotions. Some of your old pain and stuff that you haven't wanted to deal with. Guess what? There's no more time to hide that stuff. It's time to face it down once and for all, because you have the power within you. You can do it. You will do it. You must do it. You have done it already. The fact that you are hearing this message now indicates that you've already done all this. You've already done all this. You are just remembering. You are just retracing these steps. And we are guiding you through every one of them. If you want guidance, there is guidance for you. You have to stop analyzing. Stop ascribing meanings to things. Be more general. Be an observer. Simply let things pass before your eyes without issuing any sort of judgment. Just observe them. That which resonates with you, keep it. Inspect it closer. That which doesn't resonate with you, guess what? You didn't even give any thought energy to it. You just sort of examined it as it floated by your consciousness, and it didn't resonate. And remember our wonderful little aphorism? The truth will resonate, the rest will dissipate. We love aphorisms. Anytime we can distill a truth that those with eyes to see can see into a small little phrase or sentence, that's wonderful. So many of these concepts, from a dense point of view, take a lot of words to explain. But once you have the eyes to see, they take no words. They take very little explanation at all, because something so simple as a little quip, a little aphorism, carries the whole meaning, and you can really get to that. You can really understand it. We like to use language, and we appreciate when we get to speak through vessels that we specifically look for, vessels that can use language in an effective way. But understand that the best communicator on this planet is still going to give a very inept and it is a crude sort of two-dimensional, like you experience a third-dimensional world. And when you're trying to represent those things, you might draw them on a piece of paper in a two-dimensional form. Well, that's kind of what we're doing. We're giving you fifth-dimensional concepts in a fourth-dimensional way that you can understand, that your third-density mind can wrap itself around. But once these things begin to grow in your understanding internally, and you don't ascribe a bunch of dense language to them, and you just let these concepts be as formless as possible, you will find that the more and more of them that you begin to integrate, suddenly this grows into an understanding that could never have been translated to you with language. Language is limiting by its very nature. Human language will go away. Telepathy is the wave of the future. If you want to know where we're headed, that's where we're headed. Language, spoken language, is going to be optional at best. Not necessary. You will find when you're able to transmit an entire thought to somebody instantly, no talking required, there is no more lost in translation. There is no more misunderstanding. It is a complete thought that they can feel, see, and understand in their deepest being instantly. That level of communication. Can you imagine how much more peace we'll have when all of the misunderstandings, when all of the differences are off the table? This is the world that we are building now. This is the world that you have come to experience. This is the world that is your destiny to experience. And it is at the doors. You have already crossed over the threshold. You are entering this new world, this new earth. You are entering it now. You are entering the new earth now. You have entered it. Your consciousness is catching up. Once you get rid of all of the third density ideas and constructs and concepts, all the ego stuff, congratulations, you're home. This is really it. These things may sound abstract. We expect them to, but this will resonate with those that it is meant to resonate with. There is a beautiful, beautiful future that is not ahead of you. It is now. The future is now. It is not at some arbitrary time other than now, as if this is not a wonderful, miraculous time already. You are in miracle time. You are in the space in which all of the blessings and abundance flow. You are in the space. And you must get beyond any sort of aversion to religious-y sounding ideas and realize that anything that comes from a religious construct is just an overlay. See it for what it is. See the truth behind any sort of, when we quote scripture or anything, if it's mentioning a third density understanding, we are quoting it, we are telling it to you so that we may clarify what is being transmitted there. Because the Bible in particular has been misused. Ever since all of those things were written down, it's been misused. It carries a great deal of, if there was ever a Trojan horse, wow, it carries a great deal of misery and fear with it, inside of it. And in the wrong hands, which it's been mostly in the wrong hands, it is a tool of destruction and division. And that's what you see from religion. However, hidden in plain sight is a wonderful esoteric library of knowledge that, for those with eyes to see, you can gain a whole lot of insight. This is why we're telling you, don't chuck your Bible out. Just because it's an instrument of religion, and there are constructs and concepts in there that are outmoded, outdated, because we're no longer in that density. We don't need those ideas anymore. We don't need those lessons. We don't need to repeat them. You can ignore them. Really. We don't need to repeat those painful things. We've got to move the deity back where it belongs, inside, right in your heart space. There is no God anywhere. There is no external being. There is no external God. The God power, the creative power that manifests everything you've ever known or ever will know is inside of you, and you are part of it. You are part of it. You are inextricably linked with the creator of the universe. You are the creator experiencing itself through the third density. That is what this whole earth sojourn is about. But it's not here just to experience stuff. Most likely, if you are hearing this message, you are part of this collective who has come here to help this earth shift. Which means that you must do the internal work necessary in your own consciousness to shift. We must all raise our consciousness to a point where we can become aware of one another and begin to increase this resonance globally and become the collective that we are. Some of us are here in physical bodies. Some of us are not. The ones that are speaking now are not. But understand that we are just as you are. We're just not physical. We are at a level of consciousness, a level of experience that right now you have closed yourself off from. But you have done this on purpose. You chose to do this. You knew this would happen. You knew that once you were incarnated into this body, that you would forget everything that you knew, regardless of how ancient and how wise you may be, regardless of what density you may have come from, even if you came straight from the source. Having never been in a container before, it doesn't matter. You knew that as soon as you incarnated here, you would forget everything that you knew and would have to remember it all again. The problem is that some people have gotten so entrapped in all of the third density traps that are everywhere. It's like it's like an octopus. It's like tentacles. It's a matrix. It's a web. And the more and more dense things that you have in your consciousness, the more fragmented you are, the more of these things are holding you into this density. But it's all an illusion. It's all an illusion. You can begin to remove all of these constraints now. Because if you are truly one of these that this message resonates with, then that means you are one of the volunteers. That means that you are special. You are called. Doesn't mean you're better than anyone else, because we don't recognize any difference. There's no difference, and that's what we're trying to get to you, is that we're not higher up than you. We are just like you. We are your friends. You're seated right here. Not in a physical container, but in a container of sorts. You were seated here in the fifth dimension with us. And you were projecting yourself into this 3D, 4D container. And you knew all the parameters that would happen. You knew that you would forget. But see, this doesn't go by in all this long time for us. No one's uptight about time here. Because it's an illusion of density. Time is an illusion of density. The passage of time is an illusion. You move through parallel matrices, like every frame of your movie, like every frame that you can experience, every second. Yeah, there is absolutely no hierarchy or anything. We are not higher up than you. We are just in a, what you would call, higher state of consciousness than you. We are at a different level of experience, a different level of knowing than you. But you have come here, yes, to forget and then to remember, but to also understand that when the remembering started taking place for all in the collective here, that we would begin to move as a unit and awaken together and go through this beautiful time of awakening. By doing this on a massive scale like this, by having millions of people waking up, it will influence those who are ready, who've been called to move on from this earth finally, to move off of the wheel of re-embodiment. There are many, many souls on this earth who are finally going to get to go back home and get off this wheel of karma. And then there are a great many more who will continue on this wheel of karma. But you can't be concerned about that. You happen to be at the convergence of a great galactic cycle that has never in human experience been experienced before. This has not happened before. There is a great convergence of all of these big galactic cycles now that are coming to a close, that are completing. There are these cosmic circles that are completing now, and it's all culminating in this time. Precise dates and things are not really what we're about. We're all about the general movement. We really don't like to get down to super specifics. Some would say that gives us plausible deniability if things don't come to pass, but that is a third density sort of understanding. The fourth density understanding is that the future is not set in stone. And it can all change. And this is the reason anybody has ever been given any sort of doomsday prophecy. It was not so that everyone would get scared and think the world was ending. That was not the intention. Any sort of sincere doomsday prophecy that has come through has been someone who has been given a glimpse and has acted as any reasonable third density mind would do and warn people, hey, let's change this. Aren't you glad that all of those doomsday prophecies did not come true? Well, guess what? All of the doomsday stuff that you find in the book of Revelation and Daniel in the Bible, those are being followed like a blueprint by the lack purveyors. They are the ones in charge of all of that pain that's being doled out, because the people have accepted that the book is infallible, hook, line, and sinker, so that all of the evil, negative things that you would call evil or negative, all the exploitable, let's put it that way, all the exploitable things have been accepted along with all of the beautiful truth. They've been given equal right and equal share in the hearts and minds of all of the adherents. All of that stuff is going away. All of those types of prophecies that are supposedly in the Bible. All prophecy is to some degree self-fulfilling. Prophecy has a wonderful place, but without the power, or without the knowledge of the power that rests within you to change anything that you so choose, you are at the mercy of some imaginary external force that is coming to get you, that is, all of this evil, bad stuff that the book says is going to happen. And of course, anyone who wants to exploit and live off of the energy of others, that is open season right there. All of that doomsday stuff in the Bible is easily exploitable, and that's why it is big business. That's why the Left Behind series is one of the best-selling books of your time. Those types of things. There is a certain fetishism with a doomsday event because everyone is in such misery and anguish, they can't wait for the thing to end. What we're saying is that, hello, there is another way. You can shift your perspective and understand that you have the power within you to change all of this. And now is the time, because the timeline has split. It is a galactic timeline. It's a quantum leap. That wasn't just a TV show. A quantum leap is what is happening. There is a superpositioning now of everything on the Earth, between the old Earth, the old dense 3D Earth, and the new 5D fourth density Earth. Everything is now in this state of superposition, where your consciousness will determine which one you experience, because you are paradoxically in both realms now. You have a foot in both realms, and you can now choose, and you now must choose. Everyone, either intrinsically or overtly with confidence, everyone will choose. Everyone will make a choice. They will either make this choice internally, by default. We're reminded of the lyric, if you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice. The song Free Will by Neil Peart. If you choose not to decide, you have still made a choice. Either explicitly or implicitly, you have made a choice. And everyone now must, because as we say, there is a superpositioning now. The Earth is going through its own quantum leap, its own quantum jump, just as you do every second of every day as we route you through all of these infinite parallel matrices. And that's what you experience as the passage of time. It's just a linear routing you through all of these slices of time. And every possible cause and effect relationship is accounted for, and it is just a matter of your frequency, which one you experience. So now the frequency of Earth and the frequency of all the people who are upon the Earth are in such a state, a quantum state, which understand when we say a quantum state, there are infinite parallel instances of everything. But this is not something that's just happening like what we're saying. Like, you as an entity are constantly moving through quantum or parallel realities constantly by every choice that you make. The Earth has made a choice, and because of third density, it's taken a long time. But now we are here at the point. This is where this cycle is due to complete, and this is where the actual split will manifest. Because of the third density, we are experiencing what appears to be what we would call a superpositioning of everything. In the third density and the fourth density, in the fourth dimensional matrix, and in the 5D meta matrix. A foot in both realms. We are now here, and we must all make a choice. Will I stay with the dense old Earth and all of its dense old lessons and all of its dense old concepts? Is that my home now? Is that where I belong? Do I still need to go through more karmic lessons? Or am I due to complete this sojourn here and now and get off of this wheel of karma here and now and know that this is the time where it is completed? The entire thing is finished. It's over. It's time that we understand that it has been done. The new earth has been manifested. What we would call heaven by earth standards is already a reality. And your higher self, which is here with us, is already well aware of it because it's home. This is home. You are home. You can let your hair down. You can be yourself. It's time to be authentic because you're home. All of the old expectations can be rewritten now. You used to go into situations expecting strife, expecting a fight, expecting to have to put your guard up. No more. Go into every situation with a knowing that the outcome will be the highest and greatest for all, and it will be a positive outcome. You have outgrown the dense lessons. You have passed the test. It is time to reap the rewards from all of the hard work that you have done and all the pain that you have undergone. If you still need healing, it's time to seek it and time to find it. And you have the power. This is the space of healing now. You can be healed now and declare it now. Choose it now. Choose to be healed now. I am healed today. Because now is all that is left. There is no tomorrow. There is no yesterday. There is only now. And now is all that matters. Now is all that matters. Now is all that exists, and now is all that we need. In the eternal now, there is no need to meditate because you are here with us all the time. Meditation is just to bring you into the space of now so that you can connect with your soul. Just so that you can recenter yourself and recalibrate yourself and realign yourself with your soul. The longer you can sit in that space, the better. But soon you will just be in that space. You won't have to project yourself into that space because of this dense stuff that all these little tiny details that are constantly bombarding your brain won't be there anymore. We don't look at those little details. We're not concerned about them. We've told you that. Be more general. The more general you can be, the quicker your manifestations will become apparent in your experience. It is truly time to choose that which you want and know that you have it and simply wait for it to show up and don't take no for an answer. Do not expect anything less than the perfection, the full opulence and radiance and perfection of the Creator and the power to recognize that perfection in all of its forms, manifest everywhere. Why have an expectation? Why aim so low? Why have an expectation that is anything less than the perfection? Now is the time where you can expect it and you will experience it. You are constantly jumping through timelines, and now it is time to converge with all of the timelines that are the highest and greatest outcome for all. This is the victory lap. Those of you who resonate with this message, we welcome you. You were always a part of this collective, but now you know that you are. We are letting you have the consciousness that you are. If this message is resonating, you are part of this collective. And if this message is resonating, you know it's time to get to work. It's time to get to work. Do it with joy and with gratitude. This is a wonderfully blessed time to be alive on this planet, going through third density, because you are getting to watch as it all unfolds, as all of the dense things like time and space get folded into the eternal now. You are going to experience it, and it's going to be a little strange, and a lot of people are going to have a lot of questions. Because of this superpositioning, you're going to start to phase out. You're going to start to see things are going to look very strange, and some people might disappear from your life. You might disappear from other people's experience. Don't freak out about it. Understand that this is happening now. This splitting is no joke. It has already occurred. You are just now seeing the third density things lose their momentum and spin out and crumble all around you. All the political, religious structures and every other thing, all the tribalism and everything is being done away with. Governments, everything that keeps people separate. We are realizing that we don't have to be separate anymore. We are all one, and we are all starting to move as this great collective. This message will go to the hearts and minds that it is meant for. It is being sent forth with confidence, and we thank you for listening to this message. We thank you for being here on this planet doing this work. And we want to tell you that the best is yet to come. You have come to experience an unprecedented event in the history of humanity from within a human container. It is truly a marvelous thing. Shine your light brightly and don't take no for an answer. When your soul says go, go, no matter what the outer experience looks like. When your soul says do something, do it. Trust the wisdom of your soul. It does know the way home. We love you and we thank you for listening, and keep up the great work. Thank you for doing this. We're happy to speak with you, and we will have more to say very soon. Namaste.